Not gonna lie, when I first heard about this game, I thought it had some relation to Transcendence. Ugh. Transference, no relation to the awful Transcendence, is a new psychological thriller VR game from Elijah Wood's company, Spectravision. In it, you slowly unravel the mystery of what happened to a family by rummaging through their home and triggering pseudo-flashbacks. In doing so, it asks a lot of philosophical questions that it doesn't always necessarily answer. But that's okay, because it leaves you pondering these questions to answer yourself. This is a very interesting story told in an intriguing, unique way that does have some good scares and a uniquely creepy atmosphere throughout. This game has very high production values, higher than a lot of VR games you find out there. And the cast that lend their voices and actual video throughout the game do a fantastic job as well. It's a very small cast limited to this 3-person family, but all of them do a great job of conveying emotion and keeping the story interesting throughout the runtime of the game. So how about that runtime? While the game could be played over multiple play sessions for sure, I was able to finish it in one single long session. It took about 2.5 to 3 hours, and that was without me trying to steamroll through it, while at the same time trying to find some of the secrets hidden throughout. So I'd say average playtime's probably about 3 hours. There are lots of secrets and extras to find to try and entice you to play the game multiple times. And while some of them, such as the videos of the family, are interesting and neat, for me personally, they didn't really warrant a second playthrough. But it is nice that they're included overall, because a lot of VR games so far aren't including these nice little extras to get you to play again. I myself, though, felt with that one playthrough, I had completed it, and I was done. I had a great time doing so, but I don't feel a need to go back and do it again. As I mentioned earlier, this game has very high production values, and that does extend to the graphics. The graphics in this game are great, and not just how pretty everything looks, but the actual detail within the world. A lot of time in VR games, we don't get that detail that you do get in some 2D games, but not in this game. There's tons of little details littered throughout the world that make it that much more believable. Those details and the fantastic sound design lend themselves wonderfully to the overall creepy atmosphere of the game. And it is creepy throughout the whole thing. Very rarely does the game rely on cheap scares to get you. Admittedly, there's a couple, but this game's a lot less about the scares and more about the overall atmosphere and impending dread. As you're walking around this apartment building, you are constantly feeling like there's something watching you and waiting for you around every corner. The atmosphere in this game is fantastic, and seeing as how the game does take place in a virtual world within this virtual world, it gets pretty trippy sometimes. With all that great stuff, none of it means anything if the controls, the way you interface with the actual experience, don't work. Thankfully here, the controls are great. They're very intuitive and simple to use. There's no thumbsticks. But the touchpad does work really well. And for the most part, you're not having to make twitch movements, so the touchpad lends itself well to this experience. The game's available in 2D as well, and I'm sure it's great there too, but you can really tell it was created with VR in mind. This is a great VR game that anyone with access to VR should experience. It has great controls, great graphics, an extremely interesting story, and an amazing atmosphere. Overall, making it a fantastic VR game that is absolutely worth a buy. Yeah, no on sale bullshit, it's actually worth full price. So there it is, guys, my review of Transference VR. If you enjoyed and want more content like this, hit that subscribe button and help my little channel grow. If you liked what I had to say, give me a thumbs up. If not, let me know in the comments below why. And as always, I'll see you guys next time. When I say this game's creepy, I mean it is really fucking creepy. There are parts throughout that you know you have to do a certain thing in order to progress the story forward, like grabbing something or opening something, and you really just don't want to open these things for fear of what's going to be inside. Like that freezer, man. I really didn't want to open that freezer.
Stay out of the goddamn freezer!